Welcome back, lighting friends. Rob from Pathway Connectivity Solutions talking about the Choreo network sliders and buttons. In the last video, we saw how we can find them on the network and attach them to memory pages and how you can run multiple ones synchronized on the same memory page. This video is about how you can use it in a ballroom situation or even in a theater for front of house, back of house, lobby lighting, show situations versus rehearsal situations, whatever it may be. But in this scenario, we are going to look at a ballroom with two air walls. So we have Hall A, Hall B, and Hall C. And any day, this might be three different rooms, or it might be one large room, or it might be divided up in different ways. So how do we deal with that? And in this scenario, we're going to have three clients. And our clients are going to be Canada, United States, and Mexico. So let's have a look at what we have. Here I have built some looks. Those are the downlights in all the rooms and the wall sconces and some blue cove lighting. Those are LEDs, so they can actually do rainbows. So if you leave them up, they're going to synchronize like that in rainbows. And you can have really garish effects on the chandelier lighting, or maybe something a little bit more subtle like a slow pulse in blue. Maybe slower than that if this wasn't a demonstration video. So what's that look like in the select screen? There's 60 lights in total in the grand ballroom. And if we just grab 1 through 20 and we throw those to full, we actually see that's everything in Hall A. And if we go back and grab 21 through 40, that's everything in Hall B. And I think you get the picture. If we grab 41 through 60, that's everything in Hall C. So how do we manage all of this? So let me release this out. And first thing we need to do is define the rooms. So we're going to go into setup and we're going to go into this new tab called rooms. And there are no rooms in our show right now. So I'm going to add the 3 rooms. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So every time I added a room, it added a space and it put that room in its own space. So now what I want to do is I want to name the rooms. So bear with me. So now we have our 3 rooms, Hall A, B, and C. And the spaces are called space 1, 2, and 3. Not very good. We said we're going to be renting potentially to 3 different clients. They are going to be Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Let me address those. So on the average day, we may rent this facility out like this. Canada in Hall A, United States in Hall B, and Mexico in Hall C. But that doesn't give us the remote control with the network sliders and buttons. So what I'd like to do now is add the network sliders and buttons. So we will go into Choreo NSB. There are no assigned stations in the show right now. So we will add stations and we see 1, 2, 3, 4 stations. Very convenient. I have Hall A, Hall B, and Hall C. And I have another one for the service corridor. We'll get to that in a minute. So rather than tediously going through them, I am just going to add all the stations. So now they are assigned in my show. And if I want to check them out, I press identify. And right now we are looking at the one, I've already labeled it Hall B, very conveniently there. This guy here is the service corridor. The next one here is Hall C. And this one, of course, is Hall A. So we have great network connectivity here. Now we need to assign these things to a memory page. So if I go back up to the service corridor, let me just edit this and say, instead of you driving the main page, let's have you drive that memory page called back of house. So let's have a look at that. If we go into play and we look at the back of house, here I could bring up the white works in the corridor along the top, or the blue running lights when we have clients in there and we don't want the doors opening up. So the workers now can just, in the back hall, run up their work lights when they're moving stuff about, or the blue running lights when there are clients in the ballroom. Now, what about Hall A, B, and C? Well, first off, we need to tell the lights that they are in a specific room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Select. I'm going to grab the first light through light 20. I'm going to get its settings, and I'm going to go to its properties. All of those lights are in Hall A. And select 21 through 40, get its properties, and we make sure that all of their lights are in Hall B. The last set of lights, we got to make their properties and ensure that they're in Hall C. Now we need to do the same thing with the network sliders and button stations, because they're just at the end of a wire. They don't really know where they are in the world. So we go into Setup, we go to the NSB, and we find the guy that is in Hall A. That guy there. We edit this station and say, instead of it being a global room, we're going to actually put it in Hall A. And then we're going to go and find the one that's in Hall B. Edit him, take him out of the global space, put him in Hall B. And the same for Hall C. Edit that. So now we have put our lights in our rooms, and we have put our NSB stations in rooms as well. Now what we need to do is define which room is in which space. So to do that, we will go into the show mode here. So if Mexico wants to bring up some sort of crazy festive thing going on with their chandeliers, the Americans just want to have the blue cove lighting, and the Canadians are doing some workshops, so they want some white lights and maybe the wall sconces all on, and the guys in the service corridor are going to put on their blue running lights. So everybody is running independently. Let's look at a different scenario here where we turn everything off. And in this case, Mexico is going to be taking the entire ballroom. So in this case, when they come in here, they can turn on the down lights. They might go over here and turn them off, but they might turn on the wall sconces and then bring up the effect on the chandelier. And then maybe take that out. And then over here, they can turn off the wall sconces, and you get the idea. It doesn't matter where they are. But let's say that this one on the wall and this one on the wall, we don't want the clients to do, but this portable guy we have behind the bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the wall stations in the rooms, and I'm going to mute them in Hall B, and that turned off their lights. Here's Hall C. When I mute it, it turns off his lights. These are no longer effective, but I still have room control for the entire space. In another scenario, Mexico might be off by themselves, but Canada takes both Hall A and Hall B, and they can operate their lights from any location. But the rooms don't always need to be together. They can be separated. So in this scenario, what we're going to do is Hall B is going to be in the middle, and it has its controls. But on the outside, we have control from either location, and we can have rear projection or something like that on the outside, so they need to be symmetrical, and the ones in the middle need to be independent. The permutations and combinations are huge. This is just 3 rooms with 3 stations. You can have 6 stations in 3 rooms. You can have many, many rooms because it's a network with many, many stations, and it's as easy as just configuring them like that.